Okay.
Okay.
So hello everybody. Exercise class this morning. Exercise class this morning from Bayworth Village Hall, courtesy of Mike Woodward of Railway. Thanks very much, Mike, for that as usual facility. So basic functional movement, all body weight, no equipment needed. We're going to start off with cardio warm-up. Okay, so we're marching on the spot. We're driving the knees up high, driving the arms straight overhead, fingers forward, marching on the spot. You'll need to adapt this routine with your own level of fitness. And I'll be suggesting various progressions and regressions you can add in as we go along. I'll do some star jumps. Get arms right overhead, bouncing on the balls of your feet. Okay, and from there, just shake it out. And then we're just going to hopping on the left leg. Swivel to the right leg. And just let your heel kiss the ground each time. To decelerate that load. And back to the left again. If hopping causes you any pain, don't do it. If any of this causes you any pain, don't do it. Just back off. Walk outside the pain zone. Back on the right foot again. Now do some little ankle jumps. The legs are straight. Just jumping from the ankles. Again. Just let your heels kiss the ground. You can hear from my breathing, I'm already getting a little bit puffed. I'm 62 years old. But that's no excuse. Okay. And then from there, we're just going to take it into a little bit of just running on the spot. Using the arms, let the arms come back behind to drive the motion. The more you drive your arms, higher the knees can get. The more elastic energy you can get from the ground. So still jumping on the spot. Okay, so that's a brief cardio warm-up. And then we're going to do some mobilizations. Okay, so what we'll do first of all is just think about the spine. So I'm just going to see if we can reach up overhead. But as you come down, just pushing the hips back. Touch the toes or as close as you can get. Don't force it. First 2 or 3, if you're stiff like me, that'll be quite difficult. You might not be able to touch your toes. Try not to bend your knees. So just go as far as you can without bending your knees. And focus should be, first of all, I'm getting right up overhead, get some extension through the spine. And then as you come down, just slowly pushing the hips back. Okay. So from there, we'll think about just getting some lateral, some sideways bend through the spine. So we've got right foot behind, right arm up. I'm just going to do some windmills both ways overhead. Just try to stretch out these side tissues. For a lot of people, balance will start to be an issue here. And you keep your big toe down as you go from side to side. can you actually get a stretch through the torso, or are you just going over with your arm? So you want to find some length through these side tissues, and then left foot behind, left arm up, and again we go both ways. Now the focus is on getting some length through this tissue, these tissues on the left, the torso. Some of you might struggle with that because these sideways movements are a problem of many in today's society. And then we think about getting some rotation through the spine. So we get both feet forward, start with the right hand out in front, and we're just going to turn around to the side. Keeping the left foot straight, big toe down, taking the right leg in. And just turning around, allow your eyes to lead the movement. And then let everything else just follow. Put all the weight into that left leg. Okay, and then the same going to the right. So left arm out in front. And the aim is to keep the big toe down on the right. Now I'm going to start turning this left leg in as well. What I can feel myself doing is I feel as though I want to keep the weight to the left, but I need to let the weight go to the right, so I get loaded over this leg. Okay. So spine mobilized. Just going to think a little bit about the hips now. Okay, so we're just going to do some hip openers. Make big wide circles. Get the knee as high and as wide as you can comfortably. Again, balance might come into this. I suggest you do these exercises either barefoot or with as little in between you and the floor as possible. I've got socks on here only because the floor is quite cold. But ideally, if your floor is warm, then do them barefoot. So go back the other way now. So barefoot will enable you to actually get better feeling for the ground, better proprioception, your awareness of where you are in space. It's really important. A lot of that awareness comes through the small nerve endings of the feet. So the more you put between your feet and ground, the less awareness you'll have of where you are. Okay, so just going to see if we can get a little bit of flexion and extension through the hips. If you could do this without holding on to anything, that's great. If you need to just balance with something to get that movement, then do that. If you can't get a full range of movement, or you worry about balance, really just take it back. Just do a tiny movement to start. Make sure the arms are coordinated. So it's the opposite arm, opposite leg, and it's not this. Which very often happens. Okay, so excuse me. What we'll do next is we'll just stand on one leg and we'll just go across from side to side as well. Going to the right. I'll already be able to tell is my weaker side. I'm struggling more to balance. So from there, we'll just do some little calf raises and toes back on our heels. My left ankle likes to click and do that, at least initially. So I get it moving. Okay, so we've done our cardio warm-up. we've done some mobilizations, basic mobilizations. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to do some different types of functional movements. So we'll start with squats, feet a little bit more than hip width apart, and we're just going to do 10 regular squats. You don't have to force the depth, you just want it to be done under control. Try to keep the weight even in your feet. As you push your hips back, as you come down, just try to keep the shins as vertical as possible, or as long as possible. Eyes on the horizon. Just using your hands out in front to counterbalance the weight as you come back. Okay. And then we're going to do the same with feet together. This will test your ankle mobility more. See if you can keep ankles together and knees together. Some of you won't be able to get very far doing this because of lack of ankle mobility. Doesn't matter. This is something to know that we have to work on. Okay, and then we're going to go wide. Do some wide squats. Get into these adductors a little bit. 10 of those. You don't have to do exactly the same numbers as me. It's just a rough guide for somebody average of fitness and mobility. Might only be able to do 2. 2 is better than none. Okay. And then we're going to do, let's do some overhead squats. Hands overhead, straight if you can. It's a bit harder, of course. And you can just do 5 or 6 of those. It's all good. We do some plie squats. You turn your feet right out. Some will probably turn them out a lot further than me, but this really gets into this groin area. So basically, the more you turn your feet out, the more you'll get into the inside of your legs there. And the more you turn your feet in, the more you'll start working the outer muscles and glutes. So just an example of that. So we're now just going to see we turn our feet slightly inwards. This will feel really odd for some of you. You should find that all of the work has gone out of the adductors, basically, into the glutes. And I can feel my left glute firing like crazy. My right glute not doing enough. Okay, so from there we could do, let's do 1 foot out, 1 foot forward, and that just challenges those tissues in a slightly different way. So now I can feel a lot in there, and I can feel some in there. Foot turned out, pushed it in there, foot straight, pushes it more into there, and go the other way. This is probably the one I need because my right glute doesn't fire as instinctively as the left. Let's put that working a little bit there. Okay, so just 5 or 6 each side. Then from there we'll go into some lunges. Okay, so we're just going to do some variations on lunges with the lunge walking as well. So we'll just do lunge forward, left leg and back. Lunge forward, right leg and back. Yeah, you can see I don't feel quite as comfortable putting that right leg forward. So good inflammation. Left leg forward, no problem at all. Right leg forward, getting better. The more you do it, it gets better. The key is to do this slowly with control and not rush it through, doing it with really bad form. So we're looking to get the front foot flat on the ground with no heel rise we try to keep the torso upright. So a lot of people will be doing this. It's not what we want. We want to stay torso upright, foot flat on the ground. Okay. So good lunging, under control, really great way of developing good movement patterns for walking and running and for general life. So from there we can do lunge with an overhead raise, lunge with an overhead raise. So just the thumbs are facing forwards to get maximum extension of the spine, and also just to open all this up. Because you'll notice that if you put your hands forwards, that restricts your ability to get overhead. So not wrist forwards, wrists pointing out to the side, fingers forward, and a really good whole body stretch, opening out lots and lots of tissue. So from there, we can challenge that a bit more by putting a rotation into it. Okay, so rotation will always challenge your stability a lot more than these other movements. So step forward, rotate across that front leg and back. Rotate across front leg and back. Rotate front leg and back. Front leg and back. Okay, so just do as many as you feel you're able to do. Just try and build it up gradually over the days. So we can then take that into a lunge walk. We do those same 3 exercises while we're actually on the move. So lunge walk, we might start, if we're not comfortable, by just coming to the middle, stopping, and then going again. This is a simple version. Okay. But if you can manage that all right, more challenging is to go one leg straight onto the other, no pause in between. Again, try to get that foot flat on the ground, torso upright, with maximum stability. Yeah? So, same again, you could do lunge walk with overhead raise. One you could stop in the middle. Or, if you feel confident, if you mastered that, go straight from one to the other. Don't try to do the overhead raise as you're moving, but once you've got your foot down and stable, to make it 2 separate movements rather than trying to do it all, together and having all kinds of stability problems. So, same again with rotations. You can stop in between, or you can just go one side. See what I mean about rotation causing a lot more stability problems, especially for me on the right. But it only gets better by practicing it, not by ignoring it or rushing through it. Most people will rush through these movements if they don't feel confident that they've mastered it. So slow it right down and focus on doing it right and under control rather than just get it done as fast as you can. This is not a high intensity exercise session. This is a movement practice, although it will build the cardiovascular system. You can hear me puffing and panting quite a lot doing simple movements, but it's not one of these sessions where you're going to be jumping around and out of breath, but not actually doing any movement properly. Okay, so quality of movement is what we're looking for, and that's the basis for all athletic development. Okay, so don't rush through it, take your time, focus on the movement, be aware of the movements, what you're looking for, the basic things, and can always add more speed or strength once we know how to do the movements well. Okay, so from squats and lunges, there's obviously a lot more lunges. We could actually do some side lunges. That's a good idea. Okay, so just go from one side to the other and make sure the side you're going away from has got a straight leg, so you feel an adductor stretch. Yeah, and try and do both legs bent. And then just building on top of that, a bit like a lunge, I guess, but really designed to wake up these sleepy glutes, is to actually do a round-the-clock exercise on one leg. So I'm going to stand on the left leg to start with. We're going to imagine we're in the center of a clock face. 12 o'clock is there, 6 o'clock is behind, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Standing on the left leg, I'm just going to let this knee bend a little bit. And I'm just going to tap around the clock face, keeping the weight on this standing leg. Okay? 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or maybe 9, I don't think that's as easy, 10, 11, 12, and back. So now on the right leg, again, just let the knee bend slightly. Find it easier to go this way around. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. It's harder for me to get there on this side. 1, 12. Okay. So a few rounds of that will really start to feel the glutes. You can also raise your arms overhead and do that same exercise. It's at the next level. Okay, so standing on the left leg, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. On the right leg, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 6 rather, 5. Get out to count. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. Start to feel a few twinges in my right knee doing that because I've had a few issues with that right knee. So just be wary if you've got any little issues like that. Just back off the range. It's nice and slowly with comfort. Okay. So I'm going to do some crawling now. People hate to get down on the ground. People of all ages. It's not just your 60, 70-year-old who's maybe feeling a bit stiff and immobile with creaky joints. But actually, people in their 20s and 30s, even really strong guys, they just hate it down on the ground. So before we do crawling, we're just going to do some inchworms. So what we're going to do is we're just going to gradually inch our way out. Hands on the shoulders. And we might, if you feel like you can do this, you're just going to put in a push-up. You might put in 2 push-ups. You might put in as many as you like, and then just gradually come back up again, tall, and then go again. So you start getting used to being in the ground, getting your hands on the ground. Push-ups are not compulsory, they're an add-on. For many people, especially if you're carrying on weight, it'll be hard enough just to get up and down off the ground, let alone anything else. So you can adapt that one to your level of ability and just build it up slowly. Okay? Excuse me. So we're going to do some crawling now. Crawling, well, crawling is something that we should have done before we learned to stand or walk. But if you can't crawl, you won't be very efficient at upright movement. So we can crawl, and again, first time you do it, it feels horrible, feel like, what am I doing down here? It might even feel demeaning, because a lot of our movement is controlled by society. You know, what is acceptable exercise and what is not, what is movement. Well, movement is something completely different to exercise. Movement is something that we've evolved to do over many millennia, whereas exercise is something that's performed in a very set, regimented, prescriptive kind of way. It's not necessarily entirely natural. Okay, so movement is what we're looking for. Movement under control, movement with awareness. Being on the ground and moving around on the ground is a great way to get back to those kind of movement roots, as it were. Yeah? So we're going to do some crab walking next on the same theme of moving on the ground. So going backwards first of all. And you'll notice that my wrists, or my fingers rather, are pointing backwards because that's the way I want to go. If I try and put my fingers forwards, suddenly that becomes pretty much impossible. So if you point your fingers whichever way you want to go, you'll find that's the most efficient way. So if I want to come forward now, put my fingers facing forwards, and I crab walking forwards, which is slightly harder. And now I want to go from side to side. So notice I can point my hands out to the side, and then I can go left, I can go right. And you'll find, you might well find that your triceps are really starting to fire up at this stage. So you can go in all directions, but just make sure you change your finger position so your fingers are pointed the way you want to go. Okay, so that's crab walking. So what I want to do now is just move away from some of those exercises, just build up our cardio and fitness a little bit again. And most of you won't have a lot of room, I'm guessing, at the moment, unless you're very lucky, you've got a big garden or you're able to get outside and run. So we're just going to do this on the spot. We're just going to do some cardio intervals, and just to get the heart rate going again if it's not already. So we'll just, first of all, we're just going to take a gentle jog on the spot. Just feeling, making it effortless. Just feeling the energy from the ground, feeling all that elasticity, hopefully. Okay, and then we're just going to put in short bursts of higher intensity, and we're going to drive the intensity with the arms and let the rest follow. So let's go. So drive the arms back behind. Notice how the knees come up higher. Notice how you come up more on the balls of your feet. And then we'll just take it back down to a gentle jog. Just let the arms hang loose. Just gently jogging on the spot. And then we're going to go hard again. Drive the arms. Watch the knees come higher. And then just jogging on the spot again. One more time. Driving with the arms. And just jogging gently on the spot. Okay, so we've done quite a lot of functional movement. We've done some with the cardio and all those things you can play around with. You can add on. You can explore those movements and add what bits into it as you want. You can add weight in if you want, but not until you master the movement. So what we're going to do, just to finish off, is just to do a little bit of gentle stretching on the ground. So some of the yoga moves are quite good for that. So if you're able to get down on the ground with your knees together and your ankles together, just lean back and just arch your lower back. Take your head back so your eyes can look right at the ceiling. If you can't get that far, don't worry. Most you could do is just to kneel. Some people will get cramps just kneeling. Some people won't even be able to kneel. So some of you might just be here rather than all the way back, arching your back. Okay, and then we come out of that, whichever position you're in, and we could just stretch out long. Pushing the hips back, reaching out with the arms, and then we just come back again. So the other one. So for a moment or so, I know we're going to come forward again, pushing the hips back. Long. Okay, and then we come down on our front. And we're just going to put the hands under the shoulders, and we're just going to do a few little Cobra Expansions. So as we come up, just arching the back, and we get to a point where the elbows are locked out, and the front of the hips are still on the ground. Might be a challenge for a lot of people with stiff spines, especially. Rather than holding it for long periods, we're just going to just gradually move in and out of that movement. And don't force it. You know, if you can arch your back a little bit, bring your shoulder blades together, and down, shoulder blades together, and down. There are just two more cool down movements. First of all, a stretch for the upper body. So hands by the side, and we're just going to let those shoulders roll in. And that might take your skull backwards, so you look up towards the ceiling. And then when you come down, go the other way, take the shoulders back as the arms driven by the thumb, go back, shoulder blades together. And then we go the other way again, shoulder blades apart. And again, shoulder blades together, chin down to chest. And the other way. And the other way. And just see if you actually feel any movement through your pelvis as you do that. Do you feel your pelvis tipping back as you do that? Feel your pelvis tipping forwards as you do that? You may do, you may not. Be aware. And then finally, we're just going to let the knees go soft this time. And we're just going to reach up and we're just going to bend the knees and just rock the head down between the knees. Just hang out in that head hanging low position. And then just come gently up. From there, shoulders back, eye on the horizon. Deep breaths. Okay, so that's quite a short functional movement session. I'll do some more as time goes by, but if you could just hit that session maybe either every day or every second day. Some of you might be quite sore and stiff after doing that tomorrow. Just see how it goes, don't overdo it, but regularity is key. And you don't need to do hundreds and hundreds of all those moves. Just if you could only do 3 or 4 of each, 15 minutes, that's absolutely fine. Just do what you cope with and gradually increase the difficulty as you go. So I hope that's useful to you. If you've got anything you'd like to discuss with me, we can always arrange a one-to-one Zoom meeting. we're happy to do that. Just let me know, and we can deal with these specific movement issues that you might have. And over time, I will try to produce some more movement, some more videos where we look at specific movements for specific problems and what we might do about them. So for now, it's bye from me, and have a good lockdown.
Maybe Destiny, when she come and stay.
5 minutes.